Today we're going to be installing ClearVU on this Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. This is going to be the same installation instructions for the non-EV Outlander, but be sure to check the description below for the exact year, make, and model range that this installation is going to be compatible with. So we're going to get started by removing all these plastic trim pieces. Be sure to start with this panel here. Oh, that's all right. I'll put that back. For these tabs here, you're going to have to remove the center part. And then you can remove the whole tab like that. Same on this side. Before removing this panel, you have to remove this handle. To do that, open up these tabs and remove these two 10mm screws. We're just going to remove this, just pull down. Don't remove it all the way before disconnecting this button. Pop it out from the inside, remove that. All right, just lower it down, and there's going to be another plug right here. The weirdest connector I've ever seen. Step is going to be to remove a bunch of 10mm screws and nuts from inside here. So we have one right here. 4 nuts and 2 bolts you're going to remove. The next thing is going to be to remove just this one, another 10mm with a Phillips, and that's a wood screw type. Okay, so you can leave this just like that. Remove this 10mm right here, this nut, and do the same thing on the other side. Now that you have removed the 6 nuts and bolts from the inside and the 2 on the outside, all that's holding that on is going to be plastic tabs. Good tip to remove these plastic tabs is going to be to use a 1/4-inch socket. And if you see right here, this plastic tab, I'm going to push that on there and it's going to compress it and help it pop out while you pull it from the other side. Remove this now. All that's left is these plastic clips. So I pried up on here and got a little bit of it out. So I'm just going to keep working my way down here. Here we're going to pry in between these two. Like that. Okay, there you go. We will now disconnect these 2 lights. We're going to remove these, use some pliers, pinch down. After you've cleaned the surfaces with the alcohol pad, let that alcohol fully evaporate, and we're going to start mixing the epoxy. Squeeze out the entire contents of the packet, because even though it's more than you need, you want a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Mix up the 2 parts. And then after the alcohol has evaporated from the surfaces that you sanded and cleaned, we're going to apply the epoxy. You don't need much. Make sure you don't get any in the orifice of the sprayer, so that's this little opening at the bottom there. Take your shim, your angled shim. You see it's a wedge shape, so the larger end is going to go towards the back of the sprayer, just like so. And then we're going to take a little more epoxy and apply it to the shim. Apply it to the camera. Bring it over here. Here it is. I'm going to press down just a little bit and position it just like that. You want to make sure it's centered this way as well, over the top of the lens. So we're going to let this cure for 45 minutes, and then we're going to route the hose and finish up this install. So while you're letting the epoxy dry, you can leave this on the car, but we're actually going to take it off so that I can set it aside and work on the hose. So to do that, I've already disconnected the wires. I'm just going to take off these 2 screws. And then set this aside and make sure to leave it horizontal while the epoxy is drying. Next step is going to be to route the hose, and we're going to tee in to the OEM wiper fluid hose, which is right here. So go ahead and cut that, install the T-fitting. It's going to go right next to these wires all the way down here. Get it in here to hold it in place. You can use some of the zip ties that are included in your kit if you want. Just make sure the hose is not going to go in front of any of these holes for the clips over here. And then the next step is going to be to bring the hose through this rubber grommet right here. So there's actually a ton of real estate. All we have to do is make a little snip right there. Just be very, very careful you don't cut the wire that's going through there. So I'm holding this wire out of the way, and I'm just going to clip right here just a little bit, just a little opening. You don't want to open up too much. You want it to be just enough for the hose to fit through and make a tight seal. So you see, we have a tight, weather-tight seal on there still. Enough room to get down to where the sprayer is going to be at the camera. Here, we can see we have enough hose to get to our camera. We're going to install the check valve right about here. So just snip that excess hose and hook up your check valve with the arrow pointing towards the sprayer. I'm going to put a zip tie here to hold this in place. All right, so the next step we're going to do is to trim this little opening here. Follow this line and this line up to this line. You don't want to go past that. You're also going to trim this other flange down below here. We're going to use a mix of side cutters and a Dremel to finish it off. I'm going to trim that area I mentioned before. We're going to follow this line. All right, so we put the camera back and we have the nozzle that's fully cured now. We're now going to attach the hose. So we're going to trim off any excess and just push it onto that barb there. So you're going to want it to snake up like this because there's a feature of the cover that goes on here that ends up right here. So you don't want it to be like that. You want it to curve up as much as possible. So you can see what we did. We trimmed this up here, followed this contour line, and as well as this line, and that secondary tab here. Reinstall your light connections, and now we can reinstall this trim piece. Don't look at that. This top lip has to go under this weather seal here. So there we go. Make sure that that seal is seated properly along the whole top there. Now we can push the bottom clips on. Reconnect your camera. And now you can reinstall all the 10mm screws. So now we're just going to reinstall everything. We'll start with the 10mm nut that's on the outside here. Back in. Install the 10mm screw here. I'm going to reinstall all the 10mm on the inside of the hatch. One here. I'm gonna put a zip tie here because the hose kind of wants to fall in front of this hole where that clip needs to go. If you wanted to, you could put it behind here. It might be a better way. So now all we have to do is reinstall all the plastic trim pieces. Make sure to replace all the little plastic tabs that might have stayed in the vehicle when you remove this. So just slide them back into place. Reinstall the button. Reinstall your handle with the two 10mm screws. These two tabs go on either side, right here and here. Okay, so that's it. You're all done with your installation. The next thing to do is to test it out and make sure you didn't pinch any of the hoses.